Hello, this is Dr. Dana York. Welcome to the meeting of European Medical Laser Association for lasers in medicine. We will present the lecture about the laser tissue interaction with safety consideration. Laser in medicine and practice. Laser are in medicine since 1962. This is a book we wrote in 2007, and it is edited and created by the European Medical Laser Association. Every year we go to the sun. Sun is important to us. We go to French Riviera, to the Black Sea, to Brazil, to Long Island, or to Kovalam Beach in India, Goa and so on, Bali. Why we go to the sea whenever we have a little money, a little time for holiday? Because we know we feel well when we are in the sun and something very good will happen. In the spectrum of light, electromagnetic spectrum, we have the heat on one side, microwave, and we have infrared, near infrared, visible, ultraviolets, X-ray, cell damage, and so on. What does that mean, laser, as this is a laser lecture? Light, amplification, stimulation, emission of irradiation. It all started with the sun, and then in 2016, this lovely Jewish boy, Einstein, proposed first the stimulation emission of electrons. What happened when two electrons, one is in a higher energy, one in a lower energy, they meet the particles of light? They cause this to happen, then it's called a photon. And there it is, you have a light emitting wave, and the particles of light are formed artificially. Between the two emissions of photons is a space, and that is called a wavelength. When we compare the light bulb emission of light and the laser emission of light, we see that the light bulb have an incandescent, unorganized emission. The laser have a focus emission. Focus emission. Then what do we have? We have the laser frequencies. We have all kinds of devices that are invented from 100 nanometers to 10,000 nanometers, excimer, argon, helium-neon, diodes, neodymium, erbium, and CO2. A pulse wave. What is that, a pulse wave? A pulse wave is when the light is emitted. So we have pulse and we have continue. Continue emission of energy will not be selectively in this ablate tissue, and then pulse is used as well. So pulse is used for stimulation, continue is used for anti-inflammatory. Then what do we have? We have the laser absorption in the tissue. So what is the absorption? We want, when the laser is active, the tissue to absorb the energy, but the light can reflect, scatter, or retransmit to the tissue without effect. What we want to have absorption. Theodor Mayman, another Jewish boy, built the first working laser in 2006, in 1960. In 1962, Isaac Kaplan, another Jewish boy, took the laser from a factory where he went and visited a chap engineer friend of his and put it on the photobiomodulation on the oral maxillofacial surgery. Then CO2 got invented. I think Kumar Patel, one lovely chap, helped in 64, and Isaac Kaplan used those lasers. Then the question came, what is this? Will be bad? Put that thing away from me, that will cause damage. And Professor Menster thought that will happen. So what he did, he took the laser from and he did a study with lower level. One group of mice, they were irradiated and one not. And he did blood test on them. And guess what? He became the father of laser biostimulation because the laser irradiated mice grow better hair, their biological constants, and he found wound healing. So he didn't know what happened. During the years, so imagine it's all already, that happened 55 years ago, older than I am. This photobiostimulation got all kinds of names: low-level laser therapy, photobiomodulation, cold laser therapy, laser biomodulation, light therapy, soft laser. It's the same thing depending on which part of the world was used and depending on the time. In 2008, Tina Karu did the first research with proving scientifically the existence of photobiomodulation with the curve of response of the laser. I'm going to take a picture of my lovely lady Tirana Karu that I met in Croatia, and we had beer and we discussed about football. There we are in Japan with my beloved mother and father of profession, Professor Longo and Patricia Longo. I know Mrs. Kaplan, she's the mother of lasers too. She's the first mother of laser. But you know what? I am the product of Laser Florence, Emla. And Emla made wonderful sacrifices. Then International Academy for Laser in Medicine and Surgery in Florence. They made wonderful sacrifices. And look at me, from a child of Laser Florence, I am a professor now for many years, and I am the product of Laser Florence, Professor Longo, and Patricia Longo. And then this picture is very important to me, as here I am all in a yellow silk dress, and we have Mary Dyson, we have Professor Cowell with the wife, the mother of Professor Sharon Cowell, We have an unidentified Egyptian job doctor as well. We have Penny Smiley from Chicago. She's a wonderful speaker who talks about safety in lasers. We have Professor Nguyen, who I told many times over years, since this meeting, he wanted to show me Tokyo. But I was a young, afraid of everything doctor, and I refused. Shame, shame, shame. So here I am. I went with the Egyptian doctor and the Brazilian young doctor to see Tokyo. And as a as an Asian person, he wanted to show me Tokyo in his eyes. And I told him later when I met him again in conference many years, I told him my only regret in life that I haven't seen Tokyo with Professor Nguyen, who was also one of the most faithful apprentices in Jerusalem of Professor Isaac Kaplan and in Tel Aviv at the clinic of Isaac Kaplan. Now what we do, we cry for the loss of Professor Baruchin, who passed away last week. Professor Abraham Baruchin, his wife passed away last year, like 2 years ago, right after they left from Florence, and his son is a gynecologist. I asked him if I can have children at 50. He said, no way, ever stop thinking about that. There it is. We met on one of the old International Phototherapy Association. This is Professor Glenn Calderhart that I love so much. So you can go and see him this year in Monaco to the aesthetic meeting. That's wonderful. Professor Baxter and all. Mary Dyson, we lost her 2 years ago. First, she lost her back, and then she lost her posture, and Mary Dyson too. This is me in one of the lectures when I was talking about the use of lasers. So then I showed metal instruments and the laser. The metal instruments, you can see them in the museum. They're the same since 1800s, torture instruments. Then you have the laser, the light. So go to the date, invest a little bit in yourself and buy yourself a laser for your practice. All kinds of lasers happen to be over the years. Invention. Is that like Darth Vader? Is it a weapon? No, no way. It's just a lovely, wonderful instrument. So let's see what happened. Inside the laser device, we have a mirror, we have electrons, and then we have different energy into electrons, and from that we cause this formation of photons. We have solid state, gas, and electric diode laser. We have, what is the laser in light? It's monochromatic, one color, monochromatic. It's collimated and coherent. One rays, like Darth Vader, which reminds me to put in my lecture a Darth Vader. Let me note. A Darth Vader slide. Or just a Jedi Knight, right? Do you remember the Jedi Knight sword? There you go. So then, with the hard lasers that cut, remember the LLLT, the low level therapy, it's called doesn't have the burning side effect. It's cold, it's not damaging, it's a cold light. And if it's for red, you can see the light red. But if it is infrared, you cannot see the light. Or that the side effect, never look, oh, does it working? Is this working? Is this working? No, never look in the light. So, thanks to Tor, we have here desktop laser, portable, single laser, and then we have this LED who still have work, who still have some lovely work. And that is great. The tissue penetration of the laser. So there it is, we use the laser, and funny enough, it's infrared, we cannot see it, but it's actually acting and it's cause effect at a distance. Effect at a distance. So for this specific laser, which is a diode, the effect at the distance go to 81, 810 millimeters inside. 630 nanometers to 830 nanometers. These are the wavelengths that I use in the practice. And we can see on our studies, on the periodontal blood, how the benefit of laser kill bacteria, discocytes, erythrocytes, stomatocytes, and in all cases we found in the benefit of laser use. So what are the effects of this laser therapy photobiomodulation? We have a primary effect on cytochrome oxidase ATP, then a secondary effect from the cell signaling via the natrium, potassium, and calcium pumps to create growth factors and to stimulate enzymes through the serotonin and nerve conduction, and then to cause this protein C activation, C fibers, and then to cause the soldiers of the body to act, to solve inflammation, reduce pain, tissue repair, and nerve regeneration. So you see, from the oxygen goes to cytochrome, goes to transport of electrons into mitochondria. Then we have the cell regeneration and tissue repair. Primary effect goes on ATP regulation and modulation. That signal to the cell, and then from that we have this anti-inflammatory effect. From that we have analgesia, we have tissue repair. How do? We do local effect, local effect, and general effect. We use trigger points, scanning the entire area, and then we also use local effect. So then what do we have as effect? What happened? Stop bleeding, anti-inflammation, pain relief, stimulation of circulation, edema, enzyme activity stimulation, protein synthesis, cellular growth, differentiation, transformation of fibroblasts, formation of singlet oxygen, and then it is also a systemic effect that lead to regulation of blood pressure and other benefic effects at a distance. The dose is called joule per centimeter square. But let's think about Mary Dyson, who said it's not laser, it's phaser. Depends on the patient. So patient's amplification, stimulation, emission of irradiation, because we have the patient status of health, diabetes, toxic from liver, we also have a level of osteoporosis or not, and we have the age, younger adult, older adult. One very good application for laser is as a replacement for anti-inflammatory pill, NSAIDs, anti-inflammatory. All we know that NSAIDs can cause reduction of pain immediate, but then can cause a terrible trouble to bone and tendon healing. We know that can cause damaging to immune system. We know that can cause a risk of heart failure, and NSAIDs is also the 15th cause of death in United States, and also cause erectile dysfunction. So the replacement with photobiomodulation to reduce pain is cost effective, no side effects, immediate. Let's think about the laser safety. Oh, is that dangerous as putting a wire metal in the plug? No, no. What we have to do is choose each device with the laser and to cost the dosage and to protect our eyes. So the goggles, we check on the wavelength and we look. This is 830 nanometer, right? So then we choose the goggles that protect against that. Also, everybody in the room have to have 830 nanometers goggles, no shiny surfaces into the room, and we have to have that sign outside of the room with a pair of goggles if somebody enters in the room. We never put the laser on the thyroid just because we don't know the effects, and also we don't put the laser of the belly of the pregnant lady. This is the sign to put outside the room? No, this is the sign to put outside the room. Or this. So we see that the lasers that we use for photobiomodulation, laser therapy, are infrared or red, and it's class B, class 4, 3B. Laser therapy is in all the journals, is established now. When I was a very young doctor, I had to fight, and some lecturer would say, oh, take a light bulb. Would you biostimulate me too? You got 5 minutes. What is this? But now after the FDA approval and all that, and after so many papers, research were made, our day will come. Neck pain improves with laser therapy. Anti-inflammatory is proven. This is a study that I did all by myself with the University of Bucharest in 1992 to 1998. Then another study that we did, we took subgroups, health, toxicity, osteoporosis, and calcium, and we put them related to the measuring the bleeding and how hemostasis happened. And we found in all cases in the benefit of the patient. For the pain relief, we got a patient journal. LLT inhibit the C fibers, reduce pain, and cause this pain relief. 830 is proved to reduce this time of signaling to mitochondria, and then It causes pain relief and analgesic. So that independent of the health problem of the patient, uh, we found in the benefit of laser. What are excuses that people get, medical doctors get? Too expensive, it's hard to learn, it's not safe, it's not better than traditional. It's not true. The treatment gets cheaper, faster, better. Here we have the map of a neodymium laser that have still power to cut and then LLT added at the borders. Remember, um, lasers are help adjuvant in a practice to the classical general therapies. The medium, as I told you before, is solid, gas, or electric. And we think of laser therapy, we think of light therapy, we think of photo biomodulation. So let me explain. We have the light from the sun, which is ordinary light, and then we have monochromatic light, and let me bring this slide all the way up to the slide with the beach. Don't you think so? Should be there, I think. And also let's put that next. You see, to explain, it is so important to have some order of thought, because no matter how old we are, we still need to be taught in a simple way, simple way, not confusing ways, very simple way. Steroids, are they good for you? They're very good for you because they do heal. I use them myself. Actually, by accident, I put it on a post skin tag, and it goes, oh yeah, 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 an injury, and I have to stay with everything, and then I put propolis on it, and it heals. But when we have a wound, if we use laser therapy, the healing is faster and better. And now, for example, how old I am? I'm 51, but you cannot see that much my age because using all the on my life the laser scattered to my skin, and I cause collagen stimulation, and I have no wrinkles. Spinal cord injury, they proved to get immune response from laser therapy and recovery. Endodontic treatments, chronic Achilles tendinopathy used to get stimulation with photobiomodulation. NSAIDs together with the laser, they cause this stimulation because of the laser, and it replaces photobiomodulation. Temporomandibular joint, spinal cord, we found in the benefit of laser. So that when we treat with the laser, the penetration of light goes and takes this photobiomodulation effect to the spine in non-invasive way. Fractures, myocardial infarction, and recently Professor Chukuka Iwameka put it on COVID. Now, when we have the respiratory system and we treat the laser with infrared, remember the effect is at the distance. So the upper respiratory system have the effect of photobiomodulation to the benefit of the patient. In conclusion, laser therapy, photobiomodulation, shorten the healing time, cause this short bleeding effect, pain relief, and no post-surgery complication. Edema and inflammation is taken away, better scar, formation of the cloth, with the patient having a non-interrupted social and professional life. Long-term effects, rapid anesthetic scar, bone regeneration, and then good results to diabetic patients, recurrence is low, and no adverse effects. In 1998, NASA started to conduct studies for wound healing. In 1999, US military started nerve regeneration research, and in 2003, first FDA laser cleared for pain, and then continued with bone regeneration. In 1992, I arrived in the United States for the first time, and then I did back and forth to the university back in Bucharest, where I did my master in biophysics and cellular technology, and I started my PhD in lasers used for bone regeneration and periodontal disease. By the time I finished, I was already a professor at New York University. And we say thank you to all the wonderful doctors in the world. Thank you to Professor Einstein, Mayman, Isaac Kaplan. This is me, a young doctor. I met him many times and I asked him a life advice. And he said, "You want a life advice? Take good care of yourself." There it is, Munster. Thanks to him, we discovered photobiomodulation. And then we have wonderful Tina Karu from Russia who discovered and researched and put the explanation of photobiomodulation. Thank you to my Kerala University PMS College for research. And there it is. Namaste. Hello, and please enjoy life for me. Lots of love. Greetings from New Jersey.